My name's Nick, and I'm one of the tour guides here at the Houses of Parliament. We are in the House of Lords, the second chamber of Parliament. The House of Lords is independent from and complements the work of the House of Commons. The Lords share the task of making and shaping new laws and holding the government to account through questions, debates, and committee work. This is a busy workplace made up of members from diverse backgrounds with a range of experience and expertise. The chamber is mostly organised around political parties and other groups. This is the Woolsack, the seat of the Lord Speaker, and from this seat the Lord Speaker chairs the daily business of the House. The Lord Speaker also acts as an ambassador for the Lords, both at home and abroad, explaining and promoting their work and their contribution to the UK's parliamentary system.
Up until 2006, the Woolsack was the seat of the Lord Chancellor, but constitutional reform led this to becoming the seat of the Lord Speaker and the seat from where the Lord Speaker will preside over the House while the House is in session. The Woolsack dates back to the 14th century when King Edward III decreed that his Lord Chancellor, when in council, should sit on a bale of wool as a symbol of the importance of the wool trade to the English economy. Today, the Woolsack is made from a wooden frame with a layer of webbing and a stuffed padded seat. It's covered in a layer of red baize, which is a woolen felt material, which is hard-wearing and suitable for something which is sat on every day when the House is in session. Please. At the four corners, you see tassels which were inspired by the Tudor rose, which is a motif used throughout the House of Lords. In 1938, the Woolsack was conserved, and it was found that it was stuffed not with wool, but with horsehair. And as a result, it was restuffed using wool from countries in the United Kingdom and 15 countries in the Commonwealth as a symbol of the importance of Britain's trading routes overseas. The mace is placed on the Woolsack whenever the House is in session. It's a symbol of royal authority and is on loan from the royal collection. This mace was made in the reign of Charles II in around 1672 and was carried into the House of Lords chamber by Charles II's Sergeant-at-Arms, Sir Roger Harsnett. It's replete with motifs associated with the monarchy and with Charles II. We see his royal cipher, we see the royal coat of arms on the top of the mace. And it also has symbols that are particularly important for the Palace of Westminster, the portcullis and the Tudor rose. It's made of silver gilt, which is silver to which a thin layer of gold is applied. So you have that aesthetic of gold, but it's more hard-wearing and lighter, easier to carry and more functional for an object that is carried into the chamber in procession every day. It's 11 kilos in weight and over 1.5 meters long. I'm here with the yeoman usher who carries the mace into the House on a daily basis. Please can you tell us a little bit about how the mace is used when the House is in session?
The mace represents the presence of the sovereign, and therefore the House cannot sit without the mace being present. So it's carried in a procession. It starts at the Lord Speaker's office, the doorkeeper, myself, and the Lord Speaker behind, and is joined halfway through the procession by Black Rod. When we get into the chamber, we come in from Peers Lobby down at the end of the chamber, process all the way down the chamber on the temporal side of the House, that is the opposition side of the House. I come in behind the Woolsack. The Lord Speaker takes up a position just by the Woolsack facing me. I place the mace onto the Woolsack, bow to the Lord Speaker, and then proceed into a position after that. And then following on that, there are prayers, and then the House starts its sessions.
To fix the foundations of the economy.
The only time the mace isn't placed on the Woolsack is when the sovereign themselves is present in the chamber during state opening of Parliament.
As in the House of Commons, those members representing the party in power always sit on the right-hand side of the Lord Speaker's chair, and those in opposition parties always sit on the left. One main difference between the Commons and the Lords are the crossbenches in the middle of the chamber. Crossbench peers are independent members who don't belong to a political party.
Dispatch boxes are a feature of the chambers of both houses, and they're wooden boxes designed to carry communications or text. The term dates back to Tudor times, when dispatch boxes were used to carry urgent messages from Queen Elizabeth I. Today, however, they remain in place on the clerk's table. Instead, they contain religious texts, and this is where members will take the oath. These dispatch boxes were made in 1975. They're lockable. The locks were made by Chubb London, the locksmith, and they've been upholstered in black leather with a gilt ornamentation running around the outside. On the top, you can see the royal coat of arms, and on the side, Queen Elizabeth II's monogram. The interior is upholstered in red leather, red being the colour associated with monarchy and used throughout the House of Lords interiors.
It is an important point, the noble.
These are working objects. They're in use on a daily basis, and you can see how the gilding on the top has been gradually worn away after decades of use here in the chamber.
There are also senior members of the clergy that sit here in the chamber. The bishops' benches are purposely placed on the right-hand side of the chamber, closest to the throne, on the government side. The front bishop's bench is easy to spot, as it's the only one in the chamber with armrests. Other members can sit on this bench, but they cannot speak from here. Once a year, the monarch takes his seat here, which is, as you might have guessed, on the throne behind us. The king sits here once a year for the state opening of Parliament, starting a new parliamentary session for the coming year.
Service to the country.
The Sovereign's throne is the most visually spectacular object in the House of Lords chamber, and also the most politically significant, because it is from here that the Sovereign will officially open Parliament and announce his government's plans for the forthcoming year. The throne was designed in the 1840s by Augustus Welby Northmore Pugin, the architect and designer responsible for the interiors of the House of Parliament, in collaboration with Charles Barry, the architect. And it was made by John Webb, a furniture maker and art dealer on Bond Street in London. The throne takes its form from the 14th century St Edward's chair, otherwise known as the coronation chair, which is the earliest known example of an English throne. It's carved from gilded mahogany and is replete with symbols associated with monarchy and the kingdoms at the time under the reign of Queen Victoria. The embroidery on the seat back, we can see the motifs, the 3 lions of England, the lion rampant of Scotland, and the harp of Ireland. And we see the motif of the Tudor rose, again used in the embroidery and also the carvings, and a sign of the continuity of the monarch as the head of the constitution. The throne is flanked by 2 chairs of state, also designed by Pugin. On the Sovereign's left, there's a chair of state made for the consort, then Prince Albert, which was originally embellished with his coat of arms. And on the right of the Sovereign, there's a chair which was designed for the Prince of Wales, the Queen's heir. The throne's unique status is from its role in state opening of Parliament, which is the only time the 3 elements of the Constitution, the Lords, the Commons and the monarch, occupy the same space.
At the opposite end of the chamber is the bar of the house. This marks the boundary beyond which guests and visitors cannot pass when the house is sitting, and it's marked by a railing. When the king is here, he cannot leave or go any further than the House of Lords. Specifically, he cannot pass the bar of the house. Above the bar of the house is the public gallery, where anyone from around the world can come and watch the Lords in debate. So that's it. That's the House of Lords. And you can see everything that we've described here yourself. Watch the business of the House live in the chamber as it happens, or online. Or you can take a guided tour of the Palace of Westminster.